Okay, I believe we are live if I press that button. All right. Hey, Adamaze. Good to see you again. So I think you were here last time when I was struggling with the terrain and I couldn't get the terrain to take the color. I have engaged with the Procedural Worlds team and I have found out why. What you can do is a temporary fix, but I don't like it, so I'm going to do something about it. But what you can do is you can go into terrains and you can go into settings here and you can say turn off the draw instanced, and then you need to change the material on the terrain, which is set here, to the one that comes with IL3DN, which is the publisher of this asset. Where is it? It's in, I'll tell you what, if I do it from here, it will probably just turn up. I didn't mean create. Go back. I meant to select, and the material is going to be terrain. Select that one, and look at that, it works. And I can change the color of the terrains. The problem is, if I now try to spawn with Gaia, I can't, because if I go to a spawner, click spawn, you get this error message, and apparently it's there for a reason. It needs to use draw instanced, right? So you have to turn it back on the terrain, which sounds okay, maybe I can do that, but this is what happens if you do turn it back on. Go back to my terrain. Hey, Yolan, I'm just going over why I couldn't get the terrain colors to work. They kind of restrict my billboard graphs, so I hate Gaia 2. yeah, Gaia 2 is old in the tooth now, let's say. So if I now turn on draw instance, watch what happens. Watch your eyes. If you're epileptic, turn away. Okay, it's not flickering now, but you get a horrible flicker, you get all this horrible colouring, and it's pretty awful. So I'm not going to do that. How come Gaia 2 won't even do mesh grasses for you? It's a long time since I've used Gaia 2, but I thought it used mesh grasses all right. All right, so what I'm going to do is change the textures, and I'm not going to use the ones from this pack because I have to have draw instanced on. I can't keep going in and turning it on and off every time I want to spawn. I might replace them at the end and bring them back in, but we'll see. For now, I have imported a free terrain textures pack just as a placeholder. So I'm just going to drag these in here and update on the terrain, and then there's a dirt one, I think. Let's go ground cracked for dirt, and oops, that one, and replace those on the terrain. Ooh, all right, well I'm going to put the other grass on because that's taking up everything. I may want to do those the other way around, I think. Nope, that's still pretty awful, but let's go turn the texture back on. So anyways, I could, but not many. They limit how much you can put in the scene, really? Huh. I'm just trying to think about that. I know Adam from Procedural Worlds told me off for putting too much in the scene and then complaining about performance, which is fair. Let's turn instance back on. Oh, I've got the wrong texture on. That's what the problem is. I still have the original texture. So what kind of levels does it limit you to? There we go. That's better. And now we can make sure we have a dirt texture in, so it's not the blue one, it's this one. Oh, it is the blue one. Of course it is. It's a base layer. And a normal. There we go. We have textures. They're not the best textures in the world, but they're better than that horrible setup that I had last time. They don't go too well with this particular terrain, but like I said, this is just while I'm working, get rid of that horrible white stuff. I think I can probably shrink them down a lot and it will look a lot better as well. So let's take these down to maybe 5. There we go. That looks better, doesn't it? Oops. That will keep me going while I'm working on this, so that's all right. And it limits billboards as well. I don't remember that. I like my thick grass. Must pack it. I totally agree, Yolan. I really like my thick grass too. I'm going to be working more on the grass later on tonight probably and really thickening this out. This grass is really performant. I'm really impressed with it in the demo scenes. So we're going to end up with a lot more in than this, so I'm not too worried about this terrain texture right now. Yeah, ignoring poor performance is really good fun, isn't it? But I think you should put one of your Sunday streams onto your VR headset and see what happens. Have some ice ready for your head, I guess. Meaning it'll overheat. Yeah, totally agree with you. At the weekends, you can do what you want. I'm not going for performance in this either. This is going to be used in rendered videos. So I am going to be able to have fun once I have everything set up and have fine-tuned it all. It's going to be fun. Yeah, they won't run on the Quest. That doesn't surprise me. I don't have a Quest, but I could imagine. All right, so we've done the terrain textures. So that is something that was annoying me all the way through last time. And I want to now put the shrubs in. So let's create a new biome. A new spawner, rather. And let's move it up to after the rocks, I guess. And I won't make the same mistake that I made last time, which was to move them there, which is for a convenience, but not move them here, which is for actual ordering. Let's rename that. That's going to be shrubs. So Adam Hayes, you've got a 9 HEM and 4 gig. Okay. That's going to keep you focusing on performance. Why are you worried about the about Gaia limiting you? It's not a terrible card, but you're going to have to be careful with performance with a card like that. I'm really lucky on this particular machine. It's an old card now. It's a 2080 though, so I don't really have to worry about it while I'm developing, which is nice. All right. So shrubs. What we got in this pack? Oops. Where'd that all go? There we go. Shrubs. There they are. I think I want to go with these ones with one mesh. Let's just check what they are. So that is definitely a complete shrub. What is the difference between that and... Okay, so that's just leaves. That is useful. Is that 3D? Yeah, that's useful for billboards. Okay, same again. And then one mesh. So what's the difference between that one? Got LODs and that one. Oh, okay, so they've separated out the leaves and the branches. So if I want more performance, I want that one. But as we were just saying, I don't care about performance, so I'm going to go with this one. And that'll allow me to shed the leaves if I want to. And not actually part of the plan, but it could become part of the plan. Shrubs. So we're going to create our first spawn rule. It's going to be a game object, and we're going to take shrub number 1. Got to expand that. Got to add instance. Got to expand that. Oh, too much clicking. Very lazy. Remember that it doesn't rename the first one. And we have to rename these, because if you recall, that created a bug where it was creating objects in the same same parent object. It's not about performance. It doesn't let me paint more. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Not how much are you putting in? Are you trying to get really, really lush, thick grass using details? Because that is, in some ways, a limitation of the Gaia terrain itself, rather than the the Unity terrain itself, rather than the Gaia terrain, rather than the Gaia tooling, I should say. Okay, so I'm not using billboards here. I'm using game objects. So I can put way more game objects in. But it shouldn't really affect billboards either. Could do it with a terrain, but not Gaia. That is interesting. And that's Gaia 2, not Pro. I wonder if they've artificially stuck in a limit on it. That would be a pretty awful thing to do. But maybe. Alright, so I don't want these shrubs appearing on the high terrain, and I don't have much high terrain on this, if I remember correctly. I was going for a flat one. Yeah, I might have to stick a mountain on this terrain. Yeah, let's do that. Let's stick a mountain just so in maybe here, so I can do some height variation. Okay. Can I actually stamp when I created it with a world spawner? Maybe if I go to the manager and add the stamper. You're not going to go for Pro. Well, if you're having a bad experience with Gaia 2, I don't blame you. I'm still love-hate with Gaia, to be honest with you. This map is small. It's 512, I think. I've deliberately gone small because I'm focusing on building the biome, not the terrain itself. Can I add? What happened? This could break. I don't like doing this. What happens if I click that? It's gonna. I feel that this is dangerous. Adam Hayes, you're asking if dungeon architecture can do outdoors. Yes, but not in the sense of like procedural placement like this, where it's responding to the terrain with slopes and heights and things like that. You can do outdoorsy type generation, but it's not a terrain generator in any way. You're looking more at cities and villages and things like that, or perhaps ruins or something like that that have a structure to them, not a natural environment. All right, I don't feel comfortable adding the spawner into this, so I'm going to ignore the heights for now, and I'm just going to continue on the lowlands, and then I'll put in I'll do another terrain and add some height in later on. I've got a feeling that I'll break it if I go and put this stuff into this in the middle of doing it. Dungeon architecture, on the other hand, though, Adam Hayes, is unlike Gaia. Gaia is a love-hate. There are things about it I really just dislike, to the extent that I'm constantly looking for an alternative but not finding one. Dungeon architecture, conversely, just keeps getting better. It's fantastic. It stays highly focused on the job it's supposed to do, and it focuses on doing it well. Gaia has become this huge thing that's trying to do everything, and I'd rather it just focused. that said, here I am using it because it does get me the results. So I can't complain too much. All right, not an image mask. I want a height mask in here. And I want to bring that down. Start from, the shrubs can start just above sea level, I think. Why am I not seeing anything? There we go. Just needed resetting. Yeah, that looks okay. No idea why it's decided to do something. Maybe it's feeling jealous of 2020. Oh, this is 2021. Of course it is. I'm using Gaia Pro, aren't I? Yeah. Okay, I don't like that I've got that big area over there. So do we go down to 1% maybe? Why is it not letting me type 1 in there? Weird. Oh, Unity's done that weird thing again. I'm going to have to shut it down. Unity has a bit of a bug in it at the moment that sometimes it just decides it's not going to take any keyboard input. I'm not sure why that is. Although I think actually there's something else going on here with my machine because I can't get it to respond. Ooh, what is going on? My keyboard is being super weird. There we go. Got it back. I think I must have locked Control and Alt on or something because it was doing super weird stuff there. So Unity's just starting up again. Did you see the price of the synth he had on for Fantasy Kingdom? So Yolon has that and he's working with that. I don't know if I'd call it greedy. I haven't used that particular asset and it does seem very expensive. Yolan has done a lot of work with it and says, oh, here he goes. Go on, Yolan, tell us what you think. All right, so bushes, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we have good coverage there. Just wanted to take that down to 1%. Probably wouldn't buy another one, but it's really good for learning. Yeah, that was essentially what I was going to say your conclusion was. To expand on that a little bit, if I understand correctly, as you've just typed there, there is a lot of work that went into building that, and there's a lot of automated and procedural production going on. And so, you know, you got to respect the amount of work that goes in, and you got to pay people for the work that they do. And that's why I'm saying I'm not sure I agree it's greedy. I think the problem is that the asset store is too cheap, right? Rather than any particular publisher being greedy. I'm just going to increase this height curve, bring it in a bit more. I think there's a lot of value in some of these assets that put a lot of time and effort into giving you a really good head start, and people deserve to be paid for the work that they do. Unfortunately, there are far too many assets on the store that are unreasonably cheap, in my opinion. Which is easy for me to say, because I can clearly afford to buy them. And I know a lot of people can't. But I always say some people are time rich and cash poor, and some people are cash rich but time poor. I fit into time poor. Unfortunately, I accept that some unfortunate folks are in both situations, cash poor and time poor. I don't know how to solve that particular problem, unfortunately. So what you're saying there, Aaron? One thing that bothered me was the castles weren't very good. Yeah, and that's a fundamental part of it, isn't it? Dungeon Architect, creating your castles, that would be pretty cool. I keep meaning to play with that. I was looking at the new... I've forgotten the name of the publisher now. Your favourite publisher at the moment, Aaron. I was looking at his new stuff and thinking I might play around with building a castle with one of his older packs. Houses and marketplace. Some of the other procedural parts saved you loads of time. Yeah, but the castles have no interiors. Yeah, and I suspect there's a reason for the castles having no interiors. It's actually really hard. Dungeon Architecture does that really well. Dungeon Architect. Astrofish, thank you very much, Yolan. Astrofish is indeed the publisher I was talking about. All right, let's spawn some bushes. Been mucking about for far too long. So I do have my area here, but I need to just limit this a bit. Let's take a look. What is going on? What did I come up for? Must have hit Control S. No, that was Shift S. Why? What's going on with this keyboard tonight? Okay, it's come back again. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, put some noise in. Okay, let's change this around a fair bit. I don't want it to come where the trees are, so I want it totally different. Let's increase the scale a fair bit. Oh wow, everything's going super slow now. Going to be one of those weird sessions, I think. There we go, that looks alright if I invert it. Oh, it's a bit sparse actually. Let's give it a bit more persistence. Oh, I'm inverting, aren't I? Need to go the other way. That's better. Alright, so let's try spawning some of these. Terra World, Adam Hayes, you've just got it, so I won't tell you too much of what I think about it. I like the promise, let's put it that way. I've yet to produce anything I'm happy with. I am willing to accept that perhaps I haven't put enough time into it in order to produce something that I'm happy with. So please let us know how you get on. All right, let's increase the minimum fitness. I don't want these everywhere. Let's increase the location increment. Maybe no, 85 is probably too high. Yeah, and then let's increase the instances that spawn together and give them a bit of a range, maybe 2. What? -2? What? My keyboard's being weird again. What is going on? -2, there we go. It's come back again. Very strange. And we don't want to rotate any of those. Scale will go with fitness randomized. Not too much, they're bushes, so. Okay, right, finally, let's click spawn. Adam Hayes, and you say your computer GPU is good. Yeah, my GPU is great, but apparently my keyboard is having problems at being useful, or I am being extremely stupid, which is also possible. Some might say likely. How many have I spawned here? I've spawned 0. All right, so my location increment is probably way too high then, because I put my fitness area high too, didn't I? Alright, I've spawned 3. That's still not enough. Why am I only spawning so few? Have I really made it too sparse? Let's have another look. Yeah, I'd expect to get some out of that, but maybe let's increase the space a bit. Let's try that. How many have we spawned? 25. That's okay, because there's another 3 bushes to put in. 25 might be a reasonable number. Where are they? There's one. Okay. Let's do this the lazy way. Go into terrains. Oh, I thought I'd renamed it. I did. Why is it coming out as object number 1? Oh, did I rename it in the wrong spot? Possibly. Let's have a look at these and then I'll fix that. It's these little bugs that keep coming out. They look alright, don't they? Merging in like that. It's these little bugs that keep coming out with Gaia. That they're not blocking use, but they just show a little bit of lack of testing before they release these things. And they are very prone to having bugs come back again, which is super frustrating. I'm actually thinking about going with Houdini. It's a big leap though, because it's what, $299 a year, which is a lot of money. Maybe go with World Creator, which is cheaper, but it only does terrains. So this is all right, but my object's not been not been renamed, and we know that that's going to cause a problem. So I need to fix that. I think it's this that I need to go with. Shrub round 01. And then remove instant. No, not that. Remove instances. This one down here. Clear spawns. Game objects. Only this spawner. Clear spawns. Ha! Of course, because I renamed it, it hasn't cleared them. See these bugs? I can delete it manually and we'll be good. Yeah, it's Adamaze. It's $299 a year or $359 for 2 years for the indie license, which you can have anything up to 3 seats in your studio at that, and then beyond that you have to pay a higher price. But it isn't just a terrain generator. Houdini is you should go check it out. It's a industry leading effects unit, a procedural generation thing. It does loads and loads of stuff, and it's used in Hollywood and places like that. So for what you get in, $299 is very, very cheap when you compare it to the price of Gaia Pro, for example, which does one thing, and I hope, given where Houdini is used, doesn't do it as well. So it does seem extremely expensive, and if you're just a hobbyist, it is extremely expensive. But I'm getting to the point now with my experimentation that I'm thinking about how do I build my real game? What's my tool chain for my real game? I'm probably a year away before I actually start doing that. I've still got a lot of learning and experimentation to do, but that's why I'm thinking about tools like Houdini. All right, so let's duplicate that. Oh, you can't duplicate our whole rule if... Oh, yes, you can. We found this bug last time as well. There we go. Right, duplicate that rule. Put the other shrub in. Give it a different color. And change where it's going to spawn. where am I? Mask settings. Let's increase the frequency a bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. A little bit of overlap. Let's try that. Oh, Yolan, a map magic engine. So Adamaze, what you're looking at with Houdini Engine for Unity is the piece that plugs into Unity to enable you to use the content you create in Houdini itself. So it on its own only allows you to use things that have been generated with Houdini. You can't actually create content. So if I created a terrain and published that as a Houdini object, you would be able to use that if you had the Houdini engine for Unity. But you wouldn't be able to edit it in well, you would be able to edit it. It's complicated. You wouldn't be able to create your own content. You would be able to edit it with any of the parameters that I exposed. So if I built the object to expose, like, for example, a average height value that would change the height of the terrain, then you could change it in that way using the free thing from Unity. So it's complicated. The actual tool to create things, that's what will cost you $299. But to use things created with it, absolutely, it's free. Hard to find energy this week, hey, Yolan? Okay. Well, my wife tells me I should go for a run or a long walk. I find that counterintuitive, but apparently... That's what I should do. It is true, of course. Why have I now got 2 shrub rounds? What is going on? Because that one is called shrub round because I duplicated it. Okay. So change that to 02. Let's have a look at what it created for me. That looks exactly the same as the other one to me. Come on, why am I not able to resize? There we go. That is 02, so it is different. Ah, okay, so they're only subtly different. They're not majorly different. I should have looked at that, really, shouldn't I? That one's a little bit different too. Ah, okay, so I'm going to do this a little bit differently then. I'm going to go back into my shrubs. I'm going to delete that one. And I'm going to add new instances into this one. So that's going to be shrub round rather than shrub round 01. And I'm going to add this instance in here. And it hasn't renamed it. Okay, so I also therefore want to reduce the number of instances of the first one because I had 1 to 5. Let's make that 1 to 2. That one can be 1 to 2. Okay, fixed random. I wish I could duplicate these sections. It would be a lot easier. I think that's what I want to do. Let's hit spawn and check it out. Oh, you mean at work? Last push at work, Aaron. That's why you've not got much. Connect. Yes, you've got your session coming up at Connect, haven't you? That's pretty cool. Let's delete all these shrubs because it's got all mixed up. And respawn again, so I know that I'm getting the right ones. So is your talk ready, Yolan? Are you good to go? Is there 1 or 2 or 3 there? It's 3. It's 3, all very close together. Okay, they look all right. Yep, talk goes live tomorrow afternoon. Oh, of course, it's recorded, isn't it? Here's me forgetting that we're in COVID. I used to do an awful lot of speaking at conferences and things. I kind of stopped before COVID came along. It wasn't COVID that stopped me doing it. It was other circumstances. And so I've forgotten that people don't actually go to events in order to do talks anymore. Okay, do the same thing with this one. Is that the last one of the rounds? It is. All right, spawn local. Let's see how many we get. I probably want to expand the area that they're spawning in, given that they're now all in one spawner, but let's see. It's only 31 being spawned. Yeah, make sure you ping us on the server, Yolan, when you go live. I'd like to check that out. And if there's anything else going on at Connect that you think I should be checking out, let us know that too. I think this is enough shrubs, isn't it? Density is quite good here. Yeah, it seems it doesn't matter where I go, I see some, which is probably about right. Can fine tune it later when I've got everything else in. So Yolan, did you were you a public speaker conference-wise prior to COVID, or is this something that you've picked up during COVID? Because I've noticed a lot of people who weren't able to present previously for family reasons or whatever. They just didn't want to travel or didn't want to get on a stage. I don't know. I suppose there's loads of reasons, but quite a few of those at my work have started doing that now. Oh, Adam A's, Aaron is Yolan. I'm not talking to somebody else as well. I know I've said Aaron a couple of times because I'm looking at it and reading it, but Aaron is also Yolan. Yolan is his Discord and YouTube and Twitch name. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think we're okay with that. I have lost my notes as to what I wanted to do. Let's bring that back up. That's not it. It's gone. It's gone in the weirdness that I had earlier. Oh, well, never mind. I'm sure I can make it up as I go along. I think trees next. We have trees, of course, but I want to put in the birch trees. Oh, actually, is there more shrubs there? No. All right, the birch trees. Let's have a look at these. Yeah, I definitely want to put these in. Different kind of tree, bit more variety. So let's go back to our tree spawner. We can do this in the same spawner. According to this spawner, only 3 trees have been spawned. I think there's a few more than 3. Oh well. Oh, 3 of that particular tree. Okay, my mistake. Why have we only got 3 of that one? Don't care right now. I want to keep pushing forward. Alright, add a new rule. Maybe... yeah. I was thinking about duplicating existing rules, but I don't think I will. Oh, we already got a train tree. Good. And so we're going to go with one mesh, or we'll go with the separated meshes so I can lose the leaves. I'm not going for performance, so that is okay. Let's have a look what we're doing here. Bring the yellow in. Too much overlap there, isn't there? In fact, it's almost complete overlap. All right, so I've been lazy and gone with the default. Oh no, I've not got any noise settings in here. That means I've got noise up here, yes. Okay, that that is not what I want. So do I take this noise and put it in each individual tree, or do I create a different, I think I'll create a different spawner. So this spawner is going to become a beech tree spawner. And then I'm going to create a new spawner for my birch. And let's change the order in here. Birch tree spawner. Add a rule. Bring in my first birch tree. Oh, that's set up as a texture. It's going to be birch 01. All right, a Rogan thing. An indie developer. Welcome. Hey, how you doing? Do you get better frame rate performance using Gaia? No. Gaia does not impact frame rate performance at all, with one exception. If you're using HDRP, they have a system called Flora, which is doing grass and detail spawning, and that is said to give you significant performance increases for the details. I don't do HDRP, and I have not used Flora, so I can't speak to how much difference it makes, but that is what it is designed for, and it comes as part of Gaia Pro. I use, to improve my frame rate when I'm looking at performance in these kinds of scenes, I really like GPU Instancer, which used to be the go-to for everybody. However, I keep meaning to check out, make sure I get this the right way around, Nature Renderer. Yolan, you've been playing with Nature Renderer recently. Does it give much of a performance boost? I know many people say it does. Have you got experience? Have you tested it out? All right, birch trees. Need to visualize this. Go back out again. Gonna need a height map, height mask. No worries, Rogan. I'm not an expert in many things, but I have opinions on most. Adam A's, time for you to sleep. Whose time is it to sleep? You obviously know somebody's time zone better than I do. Not my time yet. Okay, maybe a little bit higher than that. Oh, your time. So time for you to sleep. Okay. So if I read it out, it goes the right way around. Noise doing. Zihan? Noise doing? What does that mean? You want me to do some noise in here? Because that is indeed what I'm about to do. 12 p.m. So you're midday, right? Okay, yeah. It's, I don't know what time it is here. I guess it's about 9 p.m., about 9:15, something like that. I'm on the west coast of the US. So add some noise. All right. Now, I think that's too close to what we've got going on with the birch. Let's just simply invert. Let's be lazy for now. And oh, this is the birch. I meant the beech, but there we go. Let's see what we got. beech trees. There's one. Small, isn't it? Okay. That must be the small tree. So a little bit interweaved, but also out in the open there on its own, which is what I was after as a starter. So let's get those other trees in. That noise mask actually wants to go up here. And we could take it out of there. All right. So now it's going to apply to every rule that I put into this system. Just check that. Yep. Oops. Might be a bit much actually. Yeah, it's probably a bit much. Let's go back in here. Not transforms. Noise settings. I do wish they'd fix Voronoi. If you click on Voronoi, it gives you this warning that it'll crash if you use it. It says a small fraction, but I find that it's actually quite a high fraction. Back to Perlin. Right. Let's reduce the amplitude a bit, I think. Wow, it's crawling. Oh, I meant increase because I'm going the other way around, aren't I? There we go. Too little. There we go. And let's creep. Oh, I hate it when I've inverted the noise because I automatically go the wrong direction. All right, that's looking better. There's still a bit too... Actually, you know what? If I put that back now and then put the persistence the right way around again, that's better. Like a bit more density to that, I think. There we go. That's better. Not sure about this ring. Maybe I can fine tune in a bit. I might just expand it out a bit. Okay, so add a new rule. Let's put in the third tree and hit spawn. Okay, looks all right from up here. It's a bit sparse, but that's okay. We can fix that easily enough. Kind of okay. It is a bit sparse. So let's do what we were saying with the noise. Okay, let's just make it a little bit more clumpy, if that's a word. Okay, let's try that. I wish I knew how to get what I wanted with noise. I generally just muck about with it until I get what I want. I don't really know what I'm doing. It's a word now. Absolutely, Rogan thing. I can say anything I want and it becomes a word. I used to teach in the University of West Indies, which it has a number of campuses. I taught in the Trinidad and Tobago campus. And one day, as you might tell from my accent, I'm English, and I've got my back to the students, and I'm writing on the board. And I said something like, well, I can't remember why I said it, but I said, and all that jiggery pokery. And there was a bit of a snigger, quite a loud snigger actually. So I turned around and went, what? And somebody said, that word, what does it mean? And I said, what? Jiggery pokery? And there's another big snigger again. So we had a conversation about it. It turns out they'd never heard it before. It sounded similar to a traditional word in Trinidad and blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, I set you all a challenge that you need to make the word jiggery pokery a part of the vocabulary here in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, about 5 years later, one of those students sent me a cutting from a newspaper that used the word jiggery pokery. Yes! That was an awesome result, in my opinion. So, yes, whatever the word is I said, I'm going to have to go back to the video, though, because I don't know what I said. But it is now a word. All right, where are we? I want more of these trees. Yeah, I agree, a Rogan thing. It is awesome. That student is awesome as well, actually. That student keeps in touch with me, and it in many ways makes me wish I was still lecturing. I actually hated some aspects of lecturing, but when a student excels in the way that particular student did, they were struggling when I started teaching them, and we just hit it off, and boy, that guy is almost as proud as him as I am of my own kids. Not quite, though. My own kids, obviously, are way more important. All right, let's see. I want to decrease this increment a bit. I think we need a bit more density to these. And for the smallest tree, I'm also going to decrease the fitness so that we get more of those appearing out towards the edges where it's starting to fade out. Those of you who were watching last time will have seen me struggling with ways of getting it to fade out. And then I was lying there in bed the other day and thought, oh, all I have to do is decrease the fitness and it will come out to the outside. What I didn't think is it will increase the ones in the middle as well. But we'll see what it looks like. All right, so these look all right. I'm just after coverage here. I'm not trying to create a forest yet. I'm just after coverage. And I'm getting the coverage here. I'm going to use Jenna for planting the actual forests when we get round to that. So that's going to be where I paint stuff in. This is just to fill in the gaps between where I actually design what I want. Okay, this is looking all right. What else we got? We've got pine trees. Well, I need some mountainous areas for that, so I'll delay on that one for the time being. And the branches and stuff, they're going to be for the forest areas. I think I have another grass to put in, and I don't feel that I've got enough grass in this scene right now. So let's just check that out. Grass. So for the Rogan thing, you're asking what am I going to use to do the actual planting. I really like Jenna. Jenna takes a lot of setting up to get just right. It uses the same mechanism to do the decisions as to where it's going to place as Gaia. So it's really handy in that sense that you're thinking in the same way for both tools. It does take a long time to set up, though. It is quite fiddly. You know, the trade-off of getting a good result is you do need to do the setup time. This particular biome that I'm building, I'm going to be doing videos with this rather than just doing a level design. And so I'm going to be creating lots of terrains. If I was just doing level design, I'd probably use the built-in tools for the planting. Although they're not as fast for doing things, I wouldn't be after speed. I'd be after quality of planting, quality of level design. So it's Jenna, J-E-N-A. I'm just trying to find my window to type. There we go. Jenna. It's another procedural worlds tool. And is I'm hesitating. I was about to say it's probably even more useful than Gaia. I don't know that that's true. It depends what you want to do with it. I like it. It's especially good for doing things like planting rocks for cliffs and things like that. So it's not just a vegetation thing. Another thing, if you're looking for solutions, a lot of people really like Vegetation Studio Pro. I personally really like the results you can get with it, but I find it extremely difficult to work with. The UI is very clunky. I also find that it very often has pretty nasty memory leaks, which is obviously a problem. That's not always the case. Obviously, the developer is very active. He does fix it, etc. But it's a complicated piece of kit. And you asked earlier about performance improvements. Vegetation Studio Pro will give you performance improvements as well. It is an instancer. That said, it isn't the same thing as Jenna. It's closer to the planting in Gaia than it is Jenna. Jenna's like a paintbrush. Whereas Vegetation Studio Pro is more like what I'm doing here. Yeah, it is confusing to get going. It took me ages. I did a few videos on it and I eventually moved away from it, to be honest. Richard, hi Richard. Roads, rivers, etc. as well. Yeah, Jenna is you're talking about. New features. I haven't used the latest version of Jenna yet. I wasn't impressed with what they were doing with the earlier versions, but they were brand new, so still developing. I did see in the release notes they'd done quite a lot of improvements in the latest release, so I'm looking forward to playing with that. Lots of potential in where they're going with it, that's for sure. All right, I've forgotten what I was doing. Oh, I was looking to see if I've got all my grasses in yet. So that's number 2. Number 4, number 1 must be right at the top. Yeah, so I am indeed missing number 3. So let's throw that one in. What's it look? Oh, that's why I didn't put it in, because it's completely different. I remember now. Okay, so this is going to need a different approach. Where is it? There it is. Grass number 3. Oh, I've got to expand that out. Add instance. This I hate about Gaia, having to do all this clicking just to put a grass in or some other object. Okay, and so this is going to be in lots of small clumps, so maybe 10 instances over a pretty small area. Going too far below ground, and I forgot to increase the scale, didn't I, on those bushes? That's interesting, because I never noticed. Oh, it's because I had the random variation with fitness, that's why. So it was still giving me random variations. All right, where's that going to be spawning? Okay, let's have a look at this one. Let's take the noise mask on that. Oh, that's doing it in... it's doing it in the concave convex pieces. Yes, I remember now. Okay, so I'm not going to do that with this. Okay, let's take that noise mask. It's got 2 noise masks on it. That's interesting. Obviously couldn't quite get what I was after last time. I don't remember doing that. Let's see what we've got. Oh, okay. So, oh, that's right. I was removing. Yes, I remember. I removed one. But let's take that as a base for now. Actually, I'm going to leave it as that, but I'm going to increase the location increment to maybe 40 so they don't come too close together. Let's try that. Richard, you say new roads look good, though you've not used it yet. Yeah, I noticed that they've focused on actually getting it into the into the terrain properly, rather than it being raised up above the terrain. That was the thing that bothered me most about the roads previously. They focused more on the texture merging and stuff, which is hopefully going to make a big improvement to it. Anyway, Cincy Kingdom needs Jenna Pro. Well, it doesn't need it. Not sure what you mean by need. You can definitely use Cincy's stuff without Jenna Pro. It has some advantages, but it's definitely not needed. Okay. I like those grasses. I didn't intend for them to be quite so close together, but they look pretty good. Yeah, if you're saying that... Oh, I'm misunderstanding you. Yes. Cincy Kingdom requires Jenna Pro. Yes, that's right. You're not saying the Cincy stuff needs Jenna Pro. Yes, you're correct there. That makes sense. Yeah, so by the time you add the price of the two things together, it's super expensive. But again, I think there's some value in it. Okay, I kind of like those. I think I'm going to increase the number of those. Got to be careful not to end up with too much, but I kind of like where they're appearing. Let's drop it down to maybe 32. See what we get. Gives me warnings about doing this. So Adamaze, earlier you were saying that with Gaia 2, it prevents you from going too dense. This is what Gaia Pro does. It warns you. Says, you know what, you probably don't want to do that. But I'm not after performance here, so I'm going to ignore it completely. But it doesn't stop you. It allows you to proceed. Yeah, Richard, you say you're waiting for Flora for Gaia, and we were talking about that earlier on. A Rogan thing was asking about whether Gaia improves performance, and I was talking about Flora. I tried to use Flora on stream, and I had Brian, who is one of their support guys, was in chat and guiding me. And every time he said, "Oh, now it'll work," there was one more thing that we had to do, and in the end, I just rage quit and did it differently. I'm just waiting for Unity to do grass in HDRP. I'm not going to muck about with Flora. I don't want it. I know why they've done it. But I don't know. I don't see that it's going to give me anything in the long run. They're definitely filling a gap in the short term, and maybe the performance is doing the job nicely. But I'd rather use Nature Renderer, which I'm got on my list of things to check out. But right now I use GPU Instancer, which is not in this scene. This is just highly performant grass. Yeah, couldn't get it working either. Apparently the new one, which is coming soon, TM. Yes, procedural worlds are famous for saying coming soon, and it takes another 4 or 5 months, or never in some cases. It'll be much easier. Yeah, I'm sure it will. It's fairly standard practice for procedural worlds that their first versions are kind of clunky and you know, work with their specific environments and so on. And then like the second one usually brings in a whole load of bugs but improves usability, apart from the bugs, of course. And then the third one is the one that I try. And that usually is stable enough that the bugs are remaining bugs. All software has bugs, are annoying, but the tool is usable. And that's why you see me using Gaia Pro 2021, because this had the 3 major updates that I wait for. I used to be a beta tester, and technically I still am, but they never asked me to test anything anymore. But I don't know if they still do beta testing, but they should do. I always feel that their stuff is somewhat lacking in the production testing. Which reminds me, Yolan, a while back you observed that there's a new Magic release. Are you downloading it and testing it to tell me whether I should try it again? For those of you who don't use Magic, Yolan loves it. I want to love it, but I break it every time I install it. Yolan is much more much more patient with it. So Yolan is to MapMagic what I am to Gaia. I prepare to be patient with Gaia, whereas Yolan generally isn't, and vice versa for me and MapMagic. All this software has bugs. It's hard stuff to build. All right, I'm going to increase the grass all round now. So Adam A's, yeah, you say MapMagic is free. The base module is free that you can create the terrains with, and you can do texturing with it, but you can't do vegetation with it. You have to pay for the game objects add-on. And then if you want to do biomes, you have to pay again. And if you want to do splines, you pay again. It's all perfectly reasonable pricing. I am absolutely not complaining about the guy's pricing. The fact that the core thing is free means that you can evaluate it and decide whether it's any good for you, which I think is very generous of him. And when you buy all the modules, it's still not as expensive as some other tools that we could talk about, like the one I'm using right now. So I don't mean it as a criticism in any way, but be aware it's not really free. Yeah, 157 for the bundle. That sounds about right. It's nearly always in a sale when there's a big sale on, so you can get it at a really good price, although it's often not the full bundle that's in the sale. You have to wait over time if you're trying to save money. But I have them all. I do like the promise of them. I just find that it's way more buggy than Gaia is, and so I lose patience with it. All right, grass. More grass. What do other people use? We obviously have some MapMagic people in here. We got some Gaia people in here. Terra World was mentioned earlier on. What else have we got that people are using for terrain? All right. What am I doing? I'm increasing my grass all round, aren't I? This is where Jenna comes in nicely. Let's increase the global spawn density to 1 and see what we get. With Jenna, you can increase the spawn density of individual rules, which is really useful. Here, I'm increasing every rule in the system, which is probably not what I want to do, but let's see. I haven't tried TW Terra World yet. You've got them in the bundle. Okay. Yeah, do try it and let us know. It definitely has promise. But I'm always disappointed with the final results that I get out of it. Maybe I should just insist on doing a scene for 4 hours on a stream and seeing what I come up with. Well, that looks quite nice, actually. I think that's pretty good. The terrain is a bit dark underneath, but I'm not using the right layers yet. What else we got? Gaia Pro 2021. World designer thing. I just sit on it and randomly making maps. Yeah, this was the first one that I did with world designer. Actually, I think it was the second one. I worry about randomly generated stuff because it never really looks natural. But to do what you're describing, keep clicking a button until you think, oh, that looks all right. And that's one of the really nice things about MapMagic as well. You actually have I feel I've got much more control over the fully random generation in MapMagic. I'm actually liking this. Usually make them, then delete them, make more, delete them, just enjoy making them. Yeah, and this idea, once you've made a biome as well, so you click a single button and the whole thing happens, it is very satisfying. Definitely agree with that. Oh, Richard. Oh, so that's good. You're saying that you usually start with the world designer and then stamp on top of it. I actually wanted to do that earlier on because I want a mountain in here, so I've got somewhere to put pine trees. How do I get the stamper in? Now that I've got the world designer, how do I add the stamper in? Yeah, I do think it's looking good. Nave Dev, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Nave Dead and Nave Dev, not Nave Dead. Please don't be Nave Dead. Um, Nave Dev. It is looking pretty good. I mean, I'm just throwing numbers in at the moment and seeing what we come up with. I'm not tuning it in any way yet. So I'm kind of pleased with it. Think it's under Gaia Manager, then Advanced, maybe. Oh, I think you might be right. Yes. Go to Advanced, then under Gaia Tools, Create Biomes, Stamper. So I click that button there, do I? I'm always wary of this because Gaia is known to screw things up sometimes. So I'm just saving everything. Native Dev, that makes sense. Of course it does. Yes. All right, Native Dev. Excellent. All right. So, Richard, what do you say? I click the stamper button? Yeah. Okay, here we go. It's your fault, Richard, if it crashes out. Oh, it didn't crash. No, I didn't mean that. Excellent. I can now put my mountain in and therefore put my my mind is frozen at my silly jokes. I have no idea what I was going to say. I want to put my mountain in. That's the only important thing. That actually works pretty much straight out the box, doesn't it? I'm not trying to create a real terrain here. I'm just doing something to work with. Yeah, it's not quite what I want. So let's go to the mountains. Let's just bring it up where I can see it. And somewhere in here, there's a nice pointy mountain. That one. That's the one I want. Yeah, that's it. All right. So let's make that nice and tall and pointy. And let's shrink it down a bit. That's a bit too pointy. Yolan would like it that pointy, but it's not quite what I'm after. All right, let's put that out here. And we're going to need a little bit of flats on it. Okay, and then we're going to want to, let me see, maybe have some foothills at the bottom. I think it's a little bit rugged, that, isn't it? Maybe lower it a little bit and smooth a little bit. Not quite that much, though. That's a bit better. Okay. Yeah, let's try that. And then I'm going to want some hills. Once it's done all its business, there we go. And then I'm going to want to, I do love that when it just does the whole thing for you. I didn't realize I had my biome set up to spawn automatically. Normally I would have that turned off. But in this instance, that was quite pleasing. Fit that to the terrain again. Oh, this front edge looks kind of nice. Let's drop that down a little. Lift it up so I can see it. Yeah, that looks good. So then I'm going to want to rotate. Bring it back down again and bring it over here. Come on, up you come. Why are you not moving upwards? Maybe I'm on there. Ah! Where's my stamper gone? Can I get to it by doing that? No. Gaia Tools, Biome, Stamper. There we go. And then I'm going to want to take that smooth mask out, but put a distance mask in. Yeah, that's not quite giving me what I want. If I bring it over this way. There we go, that's better. What's it doing to my lake over there? Not that that was designed, but I kind of like it. I think it's improving it. Maybe just drop it a little bit more. Okay, stamp. And we'll let it do its thing again. Now, we don't want those birch and beech trees going all the way up the mountain, do we? That's where we're going to put our pines. All right. I hope my microphone didn't pick me up drinking there. I hate it when people do that. If I drink again, I will mute my microphone, I promise. All right, so let's bring those trees down a little. I've put some hard edges in it, have I? I have around the back there. Yeah. Oh, you know, I do that all the time. And what you're saying is if I change the influence to global, then that will not happen. That is a trick I did not know. So let me just try and fix it by doing it the way I've done it all along. And I will remember that for future reference. I'm not too worried about it actually, because this is a throwaway terrain. But now it's been pointed out to me, I'm becoming obsessive about it. I don't know if I'm gonna. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I'll do that anyway. Let's just check I'm not putting it. Well, I can. You say I can check. I'm not putting any more in by changing the influence to global. Where's global? So it was down here somewhere. Is it under advanced? Nope. Local. There we go. You mean world, don't you? Oh, on the distance mask. Okay. Oh, I see what you mean. That's that makes sense actually. Yeah. Okay, but in this instance, it's affecting my what I'm actually trying to do. But that makes sense. Yes, I have done that before. I had simply forgotten that trick. I'm just going to stamp with that though. Gives me more flat land to play with, which isn't a bad thing. Okay, so once I've done this, I will bring down the height of the trees and then put the pine trees in. What does distance do? So that this distance mask here, let me bring it up and show you. So let me fit to terrain and I'll bring it up so you can see the whole mask. So this actually isn't a very good one to show you. Let me pick a different stamp because I'm not going to actually stamp this now. Just pick one that is really visible. Let's go to that one there actually. So say I want to use this mask here, but I only want it to affect around about this middle piece here. So what you can do is you can go into the, let me reset this to flat. So that's what it looks like without any global mask on it at all. And then if I put it into, like you see, it's beginning to tail off here. Let me do it here so this is on, and I'll turn it off. There's a very subtle change at the moment around the edges here. If you just watch here, I'm going to turn it on. See, it brought it down a bit, and that's because of this curve here. and you can be very extreme. So I'll do this, and you can see now that I'm really controlling how much of this mask is applied and where. So you can really limit the impact of the mask to a specific area. Like so. Okay, so it is pretty cool. It's really useful if I wanted to. I was saying before I wanted a big pointy mountain. So now I've done that, I can go and do things like this. And I now have essentially a completely different mask. And of course I could scale it up and do all the usual things with it from there. Distance mask is actually one of the most useful, I think. And I'm sure there are many more uses that people would put it to. Try changing the influence top item in the distance mask. This one. Change it to global. Ah, look at that. Okay, so local means it's working within this space here. Same as, it's easy to understand. It's the same as if you're local and global on your transforms. It's the same thinking. Look at that. I didn't know. Again, I didn't know that it did that. I knew it had this kind of impact on it. You see here, when I've got it right down, you can really see the shape of this curve in that. Whereas when it was on local, it's much less obvious. What happens if I invert the strength? Ha! It inverts the... it's fairly obvious. I clicked invert, it inverts it. But, you know, it's an exploration, isn't it? Alright, so I'm going to clear that out. And I'm going to make that fit to terrain. I'm not actually going to do another thing with the stamper, I don't think. Alright, so trees. I want to go into my beech trees first. Let's go in. Oh, I've locked up. There we go. Just temporarily. So I don't want those beech trees and those birch trees going up there. So my height mask is going up too high. So that's dead easy to fix. I'm already visualizing on this. Rogan, yeah, there is an advantage to live streams because we all learn together, right? In a video, if you watch any of my videos, all you're seeing is an edited version of me mucking about like this. And so I do the videos because that's how I learn. But when we've got people in here who, as we have today, who are using these tools, I'm learning, which means that we all learn if I turn them into a video or by sitting here and watching. All right, so I have gone the wrong way around with this. I should be doing it like so. You can do it with the height adjustment thingy, but this is a more efficient way of doing it. Just going to turn the noise mask off so I can see better what I'm doing. Actually, that's gone off screen, hasn't it? So there you go. That's what I'm doing. So this is just adjusting the height at which this works, and it's being very slow in performance. I'm actually streaming from the same machine that I'm working on, and that does cause problems. It's probably a bit low. Let's bring it up a bit. Maybe a bit higher still. There we go. We want the odd one up there because this is not that high a mountain. All right, let's try that out. Put the noise mask back in and hit spawn. So this is just the beech trees. So that's the green ones. So they should now move down the hill and not be quite so high up. I do actually, Adamaze, you're right. I do need a streaming PC. I actually have one. Oh, I've not done a very good job of that, have I? I actually have one sitting over there, waiting to be set up to stream. So it's coming. I never really planned on doing any streaming, but I've found that it is a good motivation to get me working. Now, why have they spawned? What am I doing here? I reduced the level up here, but they're still spawning up there. I must have something funky going on in my minimum fitness. At least that's what I'm currently thinking. Minimum fitness. 20%. Well, it is quite low, but it's not that low. Need to increase the height. Well, if I increase this here, it kind of shifts the whole thing along. I'm not sure that... Yeah, it's the reverse of what I want. That's moving it up because it means that it hits this peak earlier. I think how I had that set was okay. There's something else that's saying, yeah, you can spawn up here even with such a low fitness. I could exclude it completely, I guess. It's always risky changing things like the spawn fitness because it's going to change the density down here as well. So it might be better to just kill it completely up here. Just thinking this through. Well, let's do that. Let's just kill it completely at the highest points. Come on. Wow, it really is. Doesn't normally perform this poorly. Alright. Let's try that. I think I've probably got it a little vicious now. It's kind of nothing here and yeah, that's done it. So if I just bring that up a bit and allow it to come up the slopes a little bit. I also need to put a slope filter in here as well because now we have some slopes in the scene. So let's just grab that again. Bring it up to maybe there. And put a slope filter in. Let's turn the noise off. Let's visualize. Maybe bring that up a little higher. Not that high. This is what happens when you got some nasty lag going on. There we go. It's better. About 29 is where I was before, so I'm going to leave that as it is and type it in later. So let's put in a slope mask and invert that. Alright, let's increase the density around the bottom here for some reason because it's on multiply. And I'm subtracting, but I'm inverting, so that's not a good idea. There we go. Alright. It's going up to 18 degrees. That's probably not enough. Let's go to, say, 35. Alright, let's try that. Oh, I'll turn the noise back on. That looks like it might be a little low. But let's try it. Oh, that actually looks okay. For at least a bit that I can see at the moment. Got none down here. That's a side effect of what I've just done. I'll have to, that might be the slope that's doing that. Where's the grass gone? Why is there no grass there? Huh. And it's gone from here too. Okay, I've got a filter on my grass. Although this down here shouldn't have changed. Oh, that's going down to the lake. It did change. Okay. Come back to that in a moment. I think I can probably afford to leave those trees up there, you know. Maybe put a slope filter in, stop these ones. But I think it's alright having those two levels. Might even increase the density a little bit with the height. That might be interesting. Let's see. Okay, so first of all, let's get rid of the ones on the slope. Plus slope mask. And then we're going to subtract that. Okay. Okay, I think that might work. And then I suggested increasing a little bit on height. Not quite as... Okay, let's see what that looks like. All right. Often I find that things that I like in Gaia are accidents. And if this works, this is a good example of it. I intended to take those out from there completely. I like it. I think it goes... We're going to have pine trees up there as well. All right, let's try and figure out why we've lost our grass over here. That might be something to do with the way that the biome is spawning. So, I did say everything was spawning, but let's spawn the whole biome. Sometimes Gaia can get a bit confused with itself, and I find it does make sense to every now and again spawn the whole thing. Just to clear out the channels. I don't know, clear out the whatevers it is. All right, still no grass down here, so it's nothing to do with Gaia, it's something to do with my rules. Okay, let's see if we got any other weirdness. Yeah, we got lots of weirdness. There is no grass anywhere. That is weird. Oh, there's grass up here. Okay. That is kind of weird. What have I got going on there? And this biome still has its default name. Oh, okay. Don't want me to call it by its default name. That's all right then. Arkovsky. That is the publisher of these assets. All right, so let's have a look at my grasses. Will you publish this video? I need to go. Adames, probably. I'll probably, what I usually do is rather than publish them in their entirety, because there's a lot of chat and thinking and mistakes, so I probably do a rough edit on it and make that available. Usually takes me a few days. What I did with the last one, and it would be useful if you have a look at it, I condensed the full 4 hours, or rather the edited 4 hours, which came out at about 150. I then condensed that down into a 90-second, or I think it was 60-second speed thing, so you could kind of look at that and use it as an index into the stream. If that's any use to you, let me know, because it only takes a few minutes to do, but it's useful. Rogan, you got to go too. All right, no worries. I'm glad that you feel like you've learned something, and share what you learn with us. We learn together. All right. Why is this? Why is that going up there? I didn't touch this. Yeah, definitely wait for it to be on sale, Adames. Definitely. It nearly always hits the sales. Why is that height mask doing that? The collision mask is just avoiding the trees. I should, while I'm here, add the other trees in. Let's turn the collision mask off while I do it. Oh, it's already done the birch trees. So it's birch 1, birch 2, birch 3. Okay. Why then is the height mask? How did that change over? I don't use world space. I use relative to sea level. I'm going to have to watch that when I do the edit on the video. I have no idea how that might have done that. I don't believe it's anything I did, but possibly. Come down a bit lower still. All right, let's try that. Let's see if we get our grass back. And I wonder if that has affected any of those other height rules. I have noticed a weird situation where sometimes when you're editing one mask in one spawner, it actually impacts a different mask in a different spawner. And I've nailed it down to when you do copy and paste. It seems to sometimes maintain a reference back to the original. I haven't nailed it down. I've not been able to do a bug report on it yet, because I haven't nailed down to exactly what is happening. Okay, Gaia is not responding. Oh, I mean, Unity is not responding. That looks okay though. Got my grasses back. Got them down here. Need to go a bit lower down on the terrain, but that's okay. That's just tweaking. Not coming over here. I like that one that's coming there. That's accidental again. I didn't design it that way, but okay, so we need to come down lower with the grasses. That looks okay. Whoops. And I do want grasses all the way to the top. We could probably increase the rocks coming up this mountain. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Alright, so I need the grasses to come lower, and I'm going to increase the rocks going up. Just looking at the amount of empty patches. Looks fine. Alright, so back to my height mask. Where is it? Keep going up. Up, 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 up. There it is. And let's go down here where we're missing it. I'm going to come down to probably a little bit past that. So visualize. Visualize, there we go. And let's turn off the noise mask on that one so I can see properly. Come on, wakey, wakey. There we go. All right, back to the height mask. Let's drop that down to maybe 10. 10, not 1. There we go. A little bit lower still. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to put it back up to 15. And I'm going to bring it in sooner on the curve. Because that will give me a bit more of a gradient here. So 15 is a little bit high. I want it to come in just past. So let's make that maybe 11. 9. Okay. Let's bring this one up a little. That one up a little too. There we go. It's right at the edge. I wish it was going a little bit past, but I don't want to fiddle with it for too long, because it has to be fine-tuned for specific terrains anyway. So spending an age making it just perfect on your test terrain doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm just going to mute while I grab a drink. Okay, it's taking a long time to spawn. I do hope this isn't a crash, because I've not saved for a while. Dooby-dooby-doo. See, Yolan, if you're still listening... Oh, it's just come back. I just invoked Yolan, so we're good. I was about to say, Yolan, you did not remind me to save, so I'm due a crash. Actually, hey, Yolan, last time we talked about that, I don't know if I'm talking to you or not. I can always send you on Discord. We did talk about doing an autosave, and you've said you tried it. It doesn't work out well. How about on your Twitch stream, your little dudes that you have walking around at the bottom? Every now and again, the one that represents you could shout out, "Hey, save." That'd be cool. Wow, this really is taking a long time. Oh, I know why it is. It's because I didn't turn the noise mask back on. So we are spawning an immense amount of grass here. That's why it's taking so long. It's my fault. This is going to be interesting. Okay. This is a point at which I either need to have some jokes ready, which I don't, or I need to be able to sing, which I can't. So we will watch a green bar going whoop, whoop, hopefully for not too much longer. What else should I do in this? Oh, there we go. Oh, still 3 or 4 rolls. I think I should have more rocks coming up the mountain. So we have more rocks the higher up we go. And I think we should have some small rocks scattered around rather than just piles of rocks like we have at the moment. Right, let's see what kind of performance we've got here. We are going to have awful performance because there is a humongous number of grass objects in here. In fact, Unity still has not come back to me. It's too busy trying to deal with all this grass. Yolan said he likes nice lush grass. Oh, actually, that's performing reasonably well. Wow, look at the density of that grass, and it's not doing too badly. I don't need it that dense, but let's see what we get in play mode. I was expecting that to be awful. This asset, actually, it is highly performant. I'm really impressed with how much density you can get in the grass. I mean, this is just silly density I've got here. There's probably 5 or 6 instances right on top of each other in every single spot. But even the demo scenes that come are very rich. They look as rich as this without having quite so much duplication in place. I wish I'd saved before I hit play after saying I need to save. I'm living dangerously. That's not a good idea. I'm nervous now. Come on, make me happy. Well, it's not frozen up. I think what I'll do is a little bit of work on the rocks, like we said earlier, and I think I'll also scatter some small rocks around. Hey, Night Shadow, good to see you, sir. Don't be worried. I'm worried you didn't see what I just did if you've only just arrived. I forgot to turn my noise mask back on, so I have spawned a immense amount of grass objects into this scene. And then I stupidly went, oh, that looks all right in the scene. In the scene view. So I decided to hit play, which I think was a very stupid idea. But hey, it's life, innit? And it's going to be fun. If it works, it's going to be nice. I don't know if you've seen this asset, Brian. It's Illustrated Nature by Artkovsky. It's really nice. You might want to reach out to them and see if he wants to put some sample assets inside of Gaia. Oh, secret stuff. Now, don't come in here and tell us you're working on secret stuff. We were talking all about procedural worlds earlier on. I was slagging you off, of course. Adam Hayes, who's gone to bed now, or gone to do something, not sure what he's doing. He was saying how awesome you are, but I was slagging you off. We were talking about Flora specifically and how you were trying to help me get it working earlier on a while back, and I rage quit and decided that I wasn't going to do it. I wish I had it in this scene because I wouldn't be having this problem with this. Well, hopefully not having this problem with this many instances. I am worried. This is nearly 4 minutes now, and I am not playing. It is not playing. Yeah, we were talking about the new one and the promises. Richard, I'm not sure if Richard is still here, but Richard said he can't wait for the new one to come through, and that it's coming soon. TM. Do we know when soon is? Have you got a date yet that you're able to share, or are you still when it's ready? And another question for you, Brian, and this one is a procedural worlds support question. If I kill this now without having saved the scene, will I have the majority of changes in my settings for my spawners? I've got maybe 45 minutes of work that I didn't save, and I'm hoping that they're in a scriptable object. Oh, Flora, you're in QA testing phase. Excellent. So it's not, well, it depends what you find, of course, but shouldn't be too far away. We're over 5 minutes now. I think I might have to kill this anyway. Shouldn't need to save. All right, I'm going to kill it then because it's 5 minutes we've been waiting for this. Let me... Don't exit it. All right, I'm not exiting it. Oh, it says, no, you would need to save. Okay, I misread. I misread what you said. That was close, wasn't it? Click on the box, and sometimes that helps. Yeah, I remember you telling me that last time. I have done that a few times. Unfortunately, we're not getting anywhere. And just to be clear, this is not a Gaia problem. This is a user problem. Not that Gaia isn't without its problems, of course. Oh, I have a bug report for you, Brian. When you add... yeah, that is a bad mess. Fortunately, Brian's a fast typer, and he told me not to close beforehand. I might have to anyway, the way things are going. Brian's leaving, so I've got a bug report. It's actually an easy one, and I'll file it. I actually have it on video as well, so if I go and find it in the video, I can send you a video report of it. But it's actually an easy one to reproduce. If you don't rename for a prefab spawner, if you don't rename the object that it's going to spawn under, so you have these objects over this side and it starts off with the name new game object. If you don't actively rename it, it reuses that name and spawns other things underneath it repeatedly. And so I got into a situation the other day where I had my different grasses. So I got grass 1, grass 2, grass 3. And they were all coming out under new game object 1. And so when I spawned a second grass, is actually the flowers. When I spawned the flowers, they deleted the grass that I would been spawning. So it's a bit. It took me ages to figure it out, but it's easy to fix from a user perspective. Just remember to change the name of it here. But obviously Gaia should be doing that automatically. It should be giving it a new number or something. So I will submit a proper bug report for you anyway, but just so you know, since I'm killing time whilst I have broken Unity. I'm just looking at the memory usage isn't that high. Well, it's 18 meg, but it's not that bad. I don't understand why this isn't progressing anymore. But we're dead now. This is just not happening at all. Yeah, Brian, you're saying it should automatically do it, and it did used to. But I think you might have a regression because it isn't doing it. I'm going to have to kill this. Okay, I know what I did. Operation could not... It's not even letting me kill it. That's weird. There it goes. Windows was telling me I couldn't kill it, but it did kill it. Let's find out how much I've lost. I'm just starting it up again on the other screen. It will come back in a moment. We always need a new Gaia update, Brian. Always. Got to give us new stuff constantly. Otherwise, where's the fun? Yeah. Waiting on it because of Flora makes sense as well. Richard, who is still here and did pipe up earlier while I was talking, he's looking forward to the new Flora. And we're nearly restarted here. This is a thrilling and educational tour through Gaia with how it shows you how humans can so effectively break good software. I was genuinely talking about how many bugs there is in procedural world software earlier on, so that's why I'm making a big thing now that you're here that this one isn't a bug, just in case your spies have heard that I was complaining about bugs. I broke it, not Gaia. Alright, we're coming back. Yeah, I saw a teaser. You're saying you can't wait for the announcements. There's a lot of them coming. I saw a teaser from Adam on Twitter earlier on. He does like his teasers, doesn't he? All right, let's see. What have I lost? All right. It actually looks like I've got most of my changes. My grass changes are not there. That's fine, because that's what I broke it with. But my trees seem to have the changes. Maybe I saved more recently than I thought. Okay. All right, let's put the grass back again, and I shall not make that same error. Ad, I swear, is staring at me all the time because I want to tell everyone. Well, it's all right. There's nobody here. Well, actually, there are a few, but not many. So we won't tell. Promise. And oh no, I was going to say Adam will be asleep, but he won't be asleep right now, will he? He'll probably be getting up. He won't be awake. You know, as in taking note. All right, what was I doing? Grass spawner. I'll just show you quickly what I was saying about the naming thing. If I go in and create a new spawner. And then I add a new spawn rule, and I change that to a game object, and then I just put a random object in. Or I have to do all this clicking to be able to do the first one. Click that in. You see this stays as new game object 1, and this has also stayed, and this has also stayed. Right? None of those have renamed. If I add another instance in to here and put a different thing in, we get different behavior. Oh no, we get the same behavior now. None of them have renamed. I thought that one actually renamed the resource name there on the second one, but clearly it's not. So I know that was fixed at some point, but it seems like there's a regression on that particular thing. So if you don't actually manually rename those things, you end up losing stuff. Of course, it's only procedurally generated, so it's not the end of the world, but it was a bit frustrating when it was happening the other day. Yeah, thanks, Brian, if you can mention it to them. It's dead easy to reproduce, and I could take forever to report it. So since you're here, and as for sending to everyone to watch my stuff, that's awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I had an interesting reach out from somebody the other day who was having trouble with Microsplat, and they said, "Oh yeah, the procedural worlds guys sent me to you." I think, really? I don't use Microsplat, but I do own it, but I'm no expert in it. But I found it fascinating that you're sending them to me for other stuff as well, which is great. You know, send them to me. I have no problem. All right, where was I? Grass spawner. Let's put my grass in. Oh, this was another interesting one, and this is on video, so I'm going to try and figure out what happened. But somehow my grass spawner changed to world space rather than relative, and so everything became messed up, and I'm not spawning down here anymore. Whilst I was changing a different height mask elsewhere. Now, I may have done something myself weird. I'm going to check it out on the video when I do the editing as to how it actually happened. But that was a weird one as well. I think we went down to 9. Yep. And then let's just turn off the noise. Don't let me spawn without turning the noise back on again. And then on my height mask, I want to bring it further down, like so. Wow, it's been really laggy tonight as well, but again, I don't believe that's anything to do with Gaia. I think it's because I'm streaming from the same machine that I'm on, which I don't normally do. All right, so put that noise mask back. Okay, I'm not going to put that collision mask back in. Save, just in case it was something else that was causing that to happen. I suppose I should look at the preview on the others as well, just to see. Ah, yes, Brian, I did see a notice that you were no longer doing support. And it's because you were promoted, was it? It did say you were moving on to different things, but it didn't say that they'd promoted you. That's awesome. What are you responsible for now? That one looks okay. And that one looks probably a little bit too dense. Yeah, that one might be the one that was causing me the problem. That's too many. Oh, this has got a high... no, it's not that high. Let me just turn that one off initially, just see where we're getting to. And then spawn. Evangelist and customer relations, be in charge of the next support guy. Part of the reason there is secret stuff. Oh, no wonder you're so excited. Gaia stuff, procedural world stuff is always exciting. But being at the center of the secret stuff is super exciting. I can't wait. I haven't played with the new Jenna yet. We were talking about that earlier on as well, and we were observing that you seem to have done a lot of work in the roads and the rivers pieces, which of course are the newest. And I made the observation that this is now the third major release since you introduced that stuff, so it's time for me to go look at it. I tend to leave your stuff until the third release at this point, because I break it. When you guys haven't had 2 or 3 releases to test it against, I break it hard. So I tend to wait. That is much better. All right, and that worked okay. I think I'm getting to the point I want to put some post-processing in here. It's beginning to look like it needs some nuance, maybe some sky as well. But this is starting to look nice. Now, what was that last grass, the one that I turned off? Let's have a look at that. So this is the one that appears in small clumps. No, it isn't, because that's that one. Huh. Grass 03, which one is this? It is that one. What's going on? Let's name these properly. Yeah, Brian, you're saying that it's hard to do QA internally because there's only so many use cases you can work with. I totally agree. I am a member of your beta tester group, but you've not been beta testing stuff for a while. That might be because I tend to break stuff hard, and I think maybe Adam got fed up of never being able to release anything because I kept finding more bugs. It's pluses and minuses. You have to get it out there at some point, right? And having somebody like me who goes and spawns far too many objects for it to be reasonable, and then saying, but it doesn't work, isn't necessarily conducive to actually getting it out the door. If what I'm doing is not typical, it's not helpful, is it? That said, I'm always willing to help out more if you want me to play with stuff. I always like playing with cool stuff. I think I'll reduce the density on this one. It's a bit high. Let's go to fitness. Bring that up a little bit. All right, and then that last one. I think that might be a little too dense, especially up at the top there. I think this is reset as well. It might be part of a save. I don't think it was this aggressive before. Oops, wrong direction. I've inverted it. Why have I inverted? Oh, I know why I inverted it. I just simply copied from the other grass, didn't I? All right. Okay, that looks better. All right, now I think I'm safe spawning that one this time. I didn't save. Oh, well. Let me see. What's Brian saying? Trying to make the process better so each release isn't a problem moving forward. Yep. Releasing software is hard. No question about that. Moves we're making have been massive as of late. We're definitely growing as a company. Well, that's good to hear. I think you know, I know I've spoken with Adam a lot about what his longer term goals are, and they are very grand and very ambitious, and I'm really pleased to hear that you're growing. Adam is what's the word I'm looking for? Adam is very much of a whirlwind, shall we say. I can imagine he's fun to work for. There we go. Honestly, we'll always have bugs. Yeah, of course you will. It's a huge piece of software. You can't get rid of all the bugs. It's just not possible. The trees aren't coming down low enough there. I'll look at that in a bit. That's looking nice. Here we go. He never asked where I'm from. I am originally from Manchester in England. I was born in Scotland, actually, but I lived most of my life in England, and I've moved around a lot over the years. I'm currently living in my 5th country, I think. I'm currently on the west coast of the US. I think I want to increase the density on that grass again. It's a little bit too patchy. I'll put it back to what it was. I'll risk it. I don't think it was that caused the problem. I think I may have just actually had bad luck on that spawn. Let's take it back down to 20 again. Save. And before I respawn, let's go and do some rocks. So I have some fairly big clumps of rocks at the moment. I want to increase the number of rocks up the mountainside and then have more dotted around. No trees at all on that side. That's interesting. Oh yeah, and I need to put my pines in. That's why I put them out in the first place. Alright, why are there no rocks up here? Why are there no rocks anywhere? Oh, there's some down here. Now they've gone and had their height mass mucked up as well. Let's have a look at that. Because they should be peering all the way up the mountainside. And I did not change those prior to the crash. Come on, wake up. Interesting. Looks like they just haven't spawned. Alright. Let's increase the feature size a bit. That's okay. About there. Right. Let's get ready to turn that off for a moment. And then what was I going to do? Oh, yes, increase it up the mountainside. So I actually need that on. Why is that? Oh, yeah, it's killing it because I've got the settings set such that they would do it. That's my muttering idiocy, shall we call it. Come on. Oh, let's turn that off. Give myself some speed. Come on. Wow, what's going on? Let's type it in. Maybe 40? Oh, no. Oh, that's 4. That's all right. Yep, that looks looking good. And then I want to not have it quite so intense. That looks good. Drop it down a bit more here. Looks good. And then I'm not multiplying. I'm adding. Put that back in. That might be a bit much up there, but let's spawn it and see. Brian says, not surprised with the stuff that Adam comes up with anymore. It just blows my mind and leaves it in a state. Yep. That's his vision has been evolving over many years, and I don't see any hint that it is about to slow down any. He's risked everything on what he's doing with Procedural World, from what I can tell, and I hope that he lands it. He works hard enough for it, and he's building a good team around him as well, so he's got good chances. That's looking good. I think that's what I wanted. And we are spawning them down here. It might have just been something weird with this, an earlier spawn. Okay, So I want to scatter a few small rocks around now. Yeah. So Brian, you're saying that he's only speeding up the madness. There's no slowing down. I can enjoy that kind of thing. I know last time he spoke to me, he caught me and I was in a more grumpy mood than usual, and he showed me his latest and greatest amazing idea that he was going to deliver, and I think I effectively said, you know, Adam, I think this might be a huge distraction from what you're actually trying to achieve. He didn't seem very impressed. I was perhaps a little bit more direct than I would normally be. I think he was wanting me to say, oh, that's super cool, because it was. But it was so far from anything else that you guys are doing that I felt, I don't know about that one. He's not talked to me about it again. I don't know whether that's because he's keeping it quiet. I don't see why he should have to. I have no influence over what you folks do. I think Adam just likes to bounce ideas around people and see what they say. Maybe that's the super secret thing that you're not telling us about. Oh, that'd be interesting. And then you'll be able to tell him, yeah, Wizards were talking about how he didn't like the idea, and now look what he's saying about it. Okay, I'm lost as to what I'm doing. Oh, yes, I'm scattering small objects around. That's what I'm doing. Oh, so here you go. Here's a question for you, Brian. So I have this, and this is a global set of spawn rules, right? What I'd like to do is invert that whole set of spawn rules. Is there a way I can do it? I'm going to see if I can find it before you get to type it, because I'm pretty certain there will be. Global spawner mask stack. No, don't worry. You don't have to clam it down. I do these to discuss, to learn. I'm gonna go with trying that one, and then doing that. Ha! I beat you, Brian. I can find my way around your UI faster than you can type the answer. That is good user feedback right there. This is one reason why I do stick with Gaia. You can usually figure out how to do it. Once you've learnt the basics, you can usually figure it out, which is not true for other solutions out there which have a less intuitive user interface. That said, I'll be honest with you, Brian, I was saying earlier on, I continually look for different solutions because there are so many things in Gaia that frustrate the hell out of me. I still haven't moved away. I haven't found anything yet. Everything I've tried, and I've tried them all, except one, which I won't name because I will try it at some point. But I haven't tried Houdini, which is a different one, so except two. I am thinking about trying Houdini, but of course with Houdini we're talking about a completely different class of tool, and a completely different price point as well. So I don't think it's a fair comparison. But I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if it is a comparison. All right, so I want the small rocks. Which are the small rocks? I'll make them all small. Start with just this one. Make that random. Try them at 1 to 1. Actually, 0.8. Not to 11.2. That would be way too big. Oh, I see, Brian. You're saying you weren't even trying to type the answer. You just wanted me to discover it. Okay, well, you win, because I did discover it, and it was easy to discover, which has got to be a good thing. Boulder 01. But I am disappointed that you weren't even trying to help me. Huh. And you can't claim you have support hands, so you wanted to see if I could do it myself because you're not in support anymore. That excuse is gone. You're now community relations. You should be making me look good. Actually, thinking about it, your tool is making me look good. So you're doing that as well, aren't you? Damn it, I'm never going to get there. Oh, okay. Till you hire a new support person, then you're still it. I have a candidate for you, actually. I'll talk with you offline about that. I have a potential candidate for you. Actually, I don't know if you'd be interested because they're a Unity newbie. So you might need somebody with a bit more experience. But I'll ping you offline and see what you're looking for. That was wrong. I didn't want to do that. I do have a candidate who is experienced with Unity and might be interested. So that's two people I could think about. Of course, it all depends on the salary you folks are planning on charging, but you can talk to them about that. Don't talk to me about that. Sorry, not salary charging. I'm assuming you pay the salary. I've gone to the wrong direction again. I'm talking and typing at the same time, getting it the wrong way. All right, let's see. Let's spawn that. Is it full-time you're looking for, Brian? Or is it a part-time role? And if it's part-time, how many hours are you looking for? Full-time, okay. Are you leaving the country? Where are you going to? Do you mean you're leaving permanently for a new home? Need to sort that out. I've got a tree spawning in my rocks, so I need a collision mask on my rocks. I don't see any of the small rocks though. None have spawned. Interesting. My fitness level is probably too low. Try that. Oh, just for a bit. Okay. All right. Going to Copenhagen and Sweden. I have not been to Sweden, but I have always wanted to go to Sweden. There aren't many countries I haven't visited. I used to have a career in the music industry, and that took me everywhere. And then I did a lot of public speaking for a number of years, which took me pretty much everywhere else. But I've never been to Sweden. Now I don't travel at all, which is awesome. All right, so my single rocks seem to be okay. I'm not sure how many I've got. 56 of them. That should be enough. So I need to add a collision mask in here. Stop these appearing where my trees are. I have 6 types of tree. Beech 1, beech 2, beech 3, birch 1, birch 2, birch 3, and spawn. I should no longer have trees in rocks. You miss travel, do you, Yolan? So Brian, you went to Denmark and Germany, both awesome countries. I'm a big fan of Denmark, actually. Germany is a nice country too. I love Denmark though. But you miss your travel, do you, Aaron? Well, hopefully we'll be able to travel again at some point in the distant future. It's not looking good right now. Oh, I've got grass appearing in my excuse me, grass appearing in my rocks too. Sort that out. I don't see any trees in rocks. I believe we're getting close to being able to try this in a different world. The grass is it's not really dense enough. I've got too much open space. Do I have a slope mask on my grass? I know it's that one that is going on the concave stuff. That's okay. But this I want to be filled in. So let's up the density on my grass a bit. And let's save. Yolan turned up. That's my cue to save. Born in Cali, in Missouri. Don't know why I'd leave the EU. I'd love it. I'll tell you why I left the EU. Because Britain hadn't left the EU at the time. No, that's not true. Britain should never have left the EU. No, I left the EU because my line of work, there is no work in Britain. I'm an open source specialist, and there are very few IT companies in Britain. It's mostly sales divisions in IT companies, and the few that are there either see open source as a charitable act that gives them rights, or they see it as the antithesis of commercial entities. So I moved to the US to work for, guess, given that I'm an open source guy, who do you think I moved to the US to work for 8 years ago? And obviously the way I'm asking you, you will be surprised, so you may guess correctly. All right. Sweden has a good game. Seriously, Oracle. Jose, that's a good guess. That's actually, on a personal level, even less likely. But it's a good guess. But no, it isn't. And yes, Yolan, you do know. I did move for the company I am currently working for. So yes, Yolan, you do know. But Jose, you're actually on the right track with Oracle. But given that I came here 8 years ago, there's another company that is equally as surprising. But you have to go back in time a little bit, because back then they had a different CEO. And that CEO was very famous for saying that Linux is a cancer. So now I've totally given it away. Not HashiCorp. No, I work for Microsoft. HashiCorp is actually one of my partners that I work with regularly, but I work for Microsoft. I came here, I believe I was the first pure blood open source Linux person that the company hired. I wasn't the first person doing Linux inside the company. I wouldn't have come here to be the first, but I believe I was the first one who made my whole living out of open source, and now my job is to make Linux successful on Azure, and we are definitely making Linux successful on Azure. We make, I'm just trying to think what our public numbers are. The most recent number that we've said publicly is 56% of Azure is Linux. It's actually quite a bit higher than that right now, but that was the last public figure we released. We may have released a different figure the other day, because we did release earnings the other day. I haven't looked at the call yet. So yeah, my job is to make Linux grow faster than Windows in the cloud, and I am pleased to say I still have a job. All right, grass density. That's what I'm doing. Location increment 32. Let's actually do it this way. Let's do that. Just increase the number of instances that are going to spawn. I have a max less than my minimum. That's interesting. I don't know how I managed that. Oh, it's not expanded. That's why I can't find it. 50 is quite plenty enough. 60 to 100 is quite plenty enough too. So let's spawn that. I did not work with Adam, no, and you are correct. He did work for Microsoft. He was in a field role in Australia. That was before I met Adam. I think he'd left before I joined Microsoft, and he was very surprised to learn that I was at Microsoft and doing the work that I did. Jose, does Unity run better on Linux in terms of building? I have absolutely no idea. I use Windows and I always have used Windows for my desktop. I do all my software development accept game development on Linux, but I do my game development on Windows. I did read the other day that there are way more bugs on Linux and that the Linux users provide much better bug reports to Unity, which doesn't surprise me because your average Linux desktop user is a highly technical person. That's looking better. I like that. Yeah, so you're talking about thinking about making a change to Linux. I don't know from a game development point of view, honestly. I know a lot of people use Mac, and I think that would be a safer way. Your house used to be 100% Linux. What happened there? I've always used Windows as my desktop. And then I have separate machines for doing my dev work on. All right, this is looking okay. I think we need some post-processing. I think we need to start polishing this. So vote in chat. Do I start putting some post-processing in and making this look a little bit nicer? Or do I build a new random terrain using Gaia and test the this setup on a completely different kind of terrain? I'm going to take the first vote that comes in, by the way. Unity runs better on Windows is what happened. Oh, I see. Yeah, so you started switching over to Windows because Unity runs better on Windows. So there's your answer, Jose. At least recently or in the past, Unity does run better on Windows. Doesn't surprise me. The game industry largely does develop on the Windows platform. And also the other customer base that Unity have, the video renderings and the marketing people and things like that, they do tend to be on a Windows platform. So it doesn't surprise me that it's better on that platform because it's just going to get more testing. I think the Linux one exists because they want to be able to compile to Linux for the deliverables rather than for the engine to exist. That's just me guessing what they're doing. Brian, you were first. I knew you would say do Gaia. So you were the first, and I said I'd do the first. Yolan, I agree. Development works on Linux is so much better. In fact, Yolan, have you tried the most recent Windows subsystem for Linux on Windows? There was a wonderful story from I forget which online magazine type thing it was, where they were saying the best thing about Windows 11 is Linux, and that is actually pretty true. There's it's not an X server, I forget the name of it now, but there is a graphical server in it now, so you can run desktop applications from Linux for those few things that only really exist in that world, as good as native applications on Windows. And they've sorted out the disk performance issue. You get a proper disk partition, well, not partition, but you get a proper disk mount for that is considered local to the Linux kernel. So performance has gone right up as well. It's a joy, it really is. Yep, I'm a command line guy too, Yolan, which is why WSL for Windows is great. I actually have started doing more and more development on Windows because of WSL as a result of that. So that's pretty cool. Yep, totally with you on the Bash thing. Bash rules the world. Windows 11 is a free upgrade, so if you do want to try it, go for it. I've been using it for quite a while. It's Windows 10, right? There's underneath it's Windows 10. I probably shouldn't say that as a Microsoft employee, but I'm not anywhere near Windows, so I don't really know anything about it. But as a user, it's Windows 10 with a little bit of a nicer UI. There's some changes that are a bit different. Well, they're changes, of course, they're different. You got to adapt to how a few things have moved, but I've not found anything that really annoys me yet. I probably will at some point because that's live, right? All right, new scene. Okay, test 1. So what I've done here is I've created a biome. It's reasonably complete. I did it on a very quick test scenario scene. And now I want to see what it looks like when I apply it to a completely new scene. So procedural worlds, Gaia Manager. Let's stay with small. Let's keep speed going since I'm streaming. Custom biome. I never saved the biome, did I? I'll do that in a minute. I'll leave it as is for now. Manual with stamp. Let's go with World Designer because I don't know how to use it. So I may as well learn. I think I've used it twice. I don't want any of that. All right. So what kind of a world shall we have? Let's go with mountains around the outside because I didn't have that last time. Okay, definitely generator because I don't have any of the others. Let's make it a bit more mountainous. Base height can stay there. Veranoid doesn't exist because presumably the bug that makes it crash if you use it in a stamper. That's a strange question, but an interesting one. Do you think programmers can be muscular? Like be really well built while remaining a professional programmer? Well, I am absolutely not well built. However, I do have weights. And when I'm in meetings, I will often get my weights out and do exercise because otherwise I never actually do any exercise. So if I was really into the bodybuilding part of it, I guess I could. But yeah, why not? I mean, it's all about exercise and doing stuff. You're not going to sit behind your computer 24 hours a day, are you? Yeah, programmers definitely have all sorts of physiques. Yeah, there's no reason. That's a very strange question, though. I'm intrigued as to why you asked that question. And unfortunately, I can't read your name because is it Russian? Brian, I didn't save my biome. You're right. I did spot that after I've done it. But that's all right. I did save the scene. So I can go back in and do that. All right. Okay, loads of chat going on there. I'll let you folks talk for the moment, and I'm going to get this done. All right, let's just keep being random here because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, looks good. So I want some planes in here. That's not changing anything. Oh, I have to click the randomize stamps button, don't I? So let's have some planes. Definitely going to want some valleys. Leave the messes as they are. Leave the hills. Let's drop the mountains a bit because we've got mountains around the outside. Don't want any islands, and we do want some rivers. All right. Is that how I do it? Click randomize stamps and see what happens. Yeah, that kind of works. I don't like it, but I got a result. Probably made the height a bit high. It's a bit extreme up there. So that was me that did that. Let's drop that. I think 7 is what it was on before I mucked about with it. So let me see what difference that makes. Randomize stamps. Your body's not pleased about what? I have to go back through the plant, through the thing. Oh, your print's done. That's nothing to do with your body not being pleased, but your Halloween print is done. So that's your wizard staff that you've been working on. Excellent. Looking forward to seeing that when it's complete. What kicked off? I've missed something. I'm scrolling back. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, mind. I'm intrigued as to what's going on there. So this is a completely different terrain. I'm going to just leave it like that because it is so different. You know what? I never put the pine trees in, did I? This terrain's going to need the pine trees. All right, so I need to save this scene. Oh, I didn't generate the terrain. Let's do that first. World designer. Generate the world. Yep. Okay, so I don't really need to save it. I do need to save it, but I don't need to close it. I'll bring the other one in. So I didn't save the biome, which means I can't reuse it in this new one, but I can add it in, so that's okay. Yeah, so I see you discussing exercise, triggered off by the question about physique. Yeah, we're all suffering sitting at the desk. I wish I could say I did more exercise than I do. I have a standing desk like you, Yolan, and I have one of those rubber mat things that has like bobbles and things on it that make me do all sorts of micro movements and things when I'm stood in meetings, which helps a lot in terms of your legs and back not getting quite so tired, but it's not exercise. Wow, this is taking forever to open up. Come on. Just going to mute my mic for a moment. All right, I'm back. Okay, and this is loaded in while I was gone, so that's good. So I need to go into my biome, which is in here. Oh, I never saved it, so it didn't rename. So this is the Artkovsky biome, and we're gonna rename, and we're gonna go and click. Not clear spawns, advanced, save and load, save biome preset. We're here, good, Arkoski, good. I believe that's all I need to do. So I can now go up here, get rid of that biome. You bought memory foam slippers. Specifically for your standing rock. There's memory foam slippers. They sound cool. Take all your meetings at your standing desk. Yeah, it's very wise. Otherwise, you're just going to kill your back. Wow, what's going on here? Oh, Gaia's put its water thing in. I thought I told it not to do that. Oh, no, that's not the Gaia one. That's the one from Markovsky. I've got both scenes in, haven't I? All right, so we're good here. So let's remove that. And then we go to... Where did I save it? Oh, yeah, in here. There we go. And add to the scene. Now, did that save... It doesn't save the individual spawners. So do I have to go through and save each individual spawner? I thought it saved them all in one go. That's a little frustrating. I swear I've done it before and it saved all the spawners as well for me. Never mind, I'll go and save them individually if that's what I have to do. Save. Should just have saved the back. Yeah, I thought so. Right, let's just do so. There's my biome. And I added it into the stream, but it's got no spawners in it. So if I go back to my biome here, did I do something wrong when I saved it? Oh, yeah, Jose, you're saying you want the same kind of art style as Genshin Impact. There's a really good YouTube video on somebody showing how to do a shader that it gives you that Genshin style. It's an excellent video. It's a bit involved for somebody like me who absolutely isn't an expert in shaders. So it says single spawners. I've saved it somewhere else. That's what's going on here. It is in user data. I'm in the wrong folder. That's what it is. It saved it where it wanted to save it, not where I thought I was saving it, which is fine. I should have looked. Yeah, there we go. There they all are. That's what it is. User error again. Who is this user? Wow, it was up. Oh, hang on, where did it go? I'm in the session there. I'm in the wrong bit. Is it in settings? No. Oh, let's just search for Artovsky. I should have read the thing. And that's not coming up either. All right. For those of you who are not familiar with ADHD, what you're witnessing here is an ADHD fail. Not actually looking at the information I need to look at. And then not remembering it. So click on that again. It's in Experiments, Gaia, Assets, Gaia User Data, Biomes. Gaia User Data. Oh, can't do it here. Gaia User Data, Biomes. Gaia User Data. There is no biomes. What? Am I being hopeless here? Experiments, Gaia and Arkovsky, right. Assets, Gaia User Data, Biomes. Oh yeah, Yolan, I've recognised some of your foibles, shall we say? Why am I not seeing the biomes? It says it's here. Did I not actually click save? That's a possibility, isn't it? Because I know I didn't this last few times. Let's just actually click save. Oh, now I've clicked spawn. Oh man. Fortunately, I don't think it took. It didn't. All right, I'm getting tired as well, of course. But there you go. Save biome. And I'm going to click save. I got a null reference. Was that part of this? Because it hasn't appeared. Oh, maybe it's not being... Oh, that doesn't look good. Let's clear all that and do it again. I've got a lot of errors in there. Okay, click save. Oh, there we go. We got a null pointer. It's not me. Biome controller editor. Oh, well, I'm not about to start debugging at this time of night. Go to the Gaia manager, go to advanced. Okay, I just hit save, which is what's going on here, because we're starting to hit weird stuff. When I've done that, I'll do that. I genuinely thought I was going bonkers for a minute there. But it's okay. It's bugs in your crappy software. Wow, this is taking a long time, isn't it? There we go. All right, Gaia Manager. And go to Advanced. I'm awaiting your instructions. I'm looking to see where you might be taking me. Good evening.
Oh.
The mic is on.
Okay. I didn't expect you to talk to me. I just came in to peek over it.
Oh, okay. No, it's fine. I'm getting tired of making stupid errors, so I've started to be a bit silly now.
Oh, good luck.
All right. Cheers. I was thinking you could check the existing biomes as it would show up there, but yeah, okay. All right, but I don't. I mean, it's not. You're saying RIP, but I don't think it's a. I don't think I've lost anything. I think it's just that I'm not saving. Let me unload this scene. It still exists in this scene, and I believe it's still healthy in this scene, isn't it? Yeah, it looks just fine in this scene. So I still have it. It's just that I can't save it. Oh, okay. RIP. Yeah, RIP, not RIP. RIP. For the crappy software comment. Fair enough. Yes. You worried me for a moment, so you got me back. I deserve that anyway, even if it wasn't intentional. All right. Okay, so I believe I can just load that up. And if I go and I'm just going to try and brute force this, and Brian's probably thinking that ain't going to work. But if I duplicate this and drag it into that other scene, would that work? Who knows? Let's find out. Okay, so then unload that. Yes, Brian, this is indeed where I break stuff. But to be fair, you're giving me a null reference exception before I start to try breaking it. So I think I'm perfectly at liberty to break it now. All right. So do I need to tie that in any way to the Gaia tooling? Or can I... let's just see if I break it. Let's just click spawn and see what happens. Yeah, I thought as much. It's going to need to know where the terrain is, isn't it? And that's fair enough, because I am just breaking stuff. Okay, so we have a Gaia terrain, but this biome is not attached to that terrain somehow. So maybe it's in the session manager. I'm going to try something super random. I'm just going to try saving this version of it. I didn't get another... Oh, I've got them stacked, so I did get another null reference. So Yolon, thinking about potential strategies, do I use some kind of 3D portal to contain the terrain? Or do I scale up the... I think I must have missed something earlier on. I'm not following. Question is how to go about it. Let's keep scrolling up. Upgraded a project to 2021. It's scrolling. Unity crashes immediately on opening Windows because you upgraded. That's not good. Alright, I'm not following the conversation again because I'm trying to solve this problem. So I'm gonna go in. There's no spawner there. That was my fault. I left that in. I wonder if that was the null reference. I wonder. That was my fault because I deleted the object without removing it. So let me see if I can fix this the proper way. It wouldn't surprise me. And that's a bug report coming your way again, Brian. If this is the problem, it's definitely user error, but you know, you've got to protect the user from themselves, haven't you? Wow, this is going super slow. I feel like I'm in 2020, the Unity 2020 at the moment, watching this stupid thing going by. I do have a lot of grass in this terrain that I'm loading up. Yeah, Brian, you're saying that you do think it'd be the empty spot. It does make a lot of sense. So the empty spawner there was because I created one very quickly to show you that bug about the naming thing, and then I just deleted the spawner, but I didn't remove it from the biome. So my fault, understandable, but you know, simple null reference check should kill that problem. I'm not saying I expect you to have everything in there. I'm saying it's an easy one for you to fix so nobody else hits it. All right, let's try that. Let's go in Tools, Biomes, remove that empty one. Go into Save. Clear this so I know what's going on. Hit Save. Looking good. So, user error. I hate it when I have to admit I did it. Especially after I called it crappy software. Damn it! Alright, so now I'm going to be able to bring it into the other scene and see the magic happen. Alright, so let's see if I can figure out what Yolan is saying. Keep going back. So Jose was saying, don't know if you've looked into Genshin Impact. It's possible to create a world that is beautiful through Gaia. Once use it to create. So I don't know Genshin Impact. I think I was thinking of something else when you brought it up before. I'm not sure what Genshin Impact is. I'll have to have a look at that. But is it possible to create a world that is beautiful? I don't know if it can be as beautiful because I don't know what it is. But Gaia is super powerful. We got a bit of a UI error there, but that's fine. Gaia is super powerful, and you can, with effort, because it's a powerful tool with a steep learning curve as a result, you can create some really amazing stuff. So my suggestion is possibly. Oh, Microworld. YouTube video. This is not 3D software. How I create microworlds. Oh, I see. It's a YouTube video. I'll have a look at that in a moment when I've just clicked off this spawn. So I'll get rid of that because that was me being a fool. And now I need to go find my biome, which is now here. And all my spawners are in. Good. And hit add to scene. That should wire everything up. Then go into my biome, hit spawn. There we go. Look at that. Magic is happening. All right, let's check out this microworlds thing. YouTube microworlds, not 3D software. I should make you an admin if I can figure out how to do it, Yolan, so you can post links. Alright, maybe I should search actually on YouTube. It's not coming up with anything for me on the search engine. Alright, let's try that. This is not 3D software, so here we go.
Question. Would you build a website?
Let's mute that and bring that up. Hey, Yolan, watch this. I noticed you doing this on your video and you had a crash the other day. Watch carefully. See how that snapped to being exactly the right size?
For a major brand with more.
I shall send you a link as to how to do that. I noticed you had to drag it and bring it to the right size for OBS to make it the right size for the video. It's a Power Toys tool for Windows. It's super, super good. All right, so what we're looking at here. Show me some results. Okay, so he's got some textures and he's generated some terrain back there. All right, so are we looking at voxels here? No, because it says it's not 3D software. So what is it? An advert. Back to Microworlds. He's painting it. Wow, that's pretty impressive. So this is actually two-dimensional. It isn't a 3D rendering of a world. Is that what I'm looking at? That's super cool. I'm going to have a look at that. That spawn should have finished by now. Okay. What's going on there? Ooh. Oh, it's just lighting on the terrain. I haven't done anything with the textures in this terrain, so those weird lines are just bad setup of the texturing. That's not bad considering I've got no tuning of this at all. Just dropped it straight in. I'm going to just grab my oh, I don't have Asset Manager on here. Okay, I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Photogrammetry and tweak the UVs. Okay. Yeah. I've got the video happening on the other thing. He is pretty amazing. I'm watching this. Oh, I should post the link. Hang on, let me post the link to the one I was looking at. Since Yolan can't. I can't find my window to paste it into. I am really getting tired now. Where are we? That's because I've got that there. That's okay. Here we go. Here's the link if anybody is wanting to have a look at that now that I've taken it off the screen. Yeah, I know, Yolan. Why? How could I possibly have a new project without an asset manager in it? I have no excuse other than can't think of an excuse. What am I doing here? Pressing the wrong buttons. I wanted to go to add from disk and go. I'm not in experiments anymore. Go up here. What I'm doing here is putting in a tool that I've built to explore terrains automatically. It's a very simple little thing, but it's kind of handy. Did that install? Surely not that quickly. Oh no, there we go. It's just being slow. So this is just basically a semi-random, semi-automatic, semi-AI driven camera that'll just go in the format that I've got it here. It'll just randomly wander around the scene, semi-randomly wander around the scene. But you can tweak it and get it to go to specific areas and things. Come on, wow. Everything's going super slow for me this evening. So all I do is go to Tools, Wizard Code, AI, Add Automated Camera. That adds a few things into my scene. Then I need to go and check the spawn area that it's created, which right now is not in a good spot. So I'll move that over there. As you can see, I need to do some improvements to this. Like have it actually center on the terrain would be a good idea. And then make sure, yep, good. And then just, I'll give it a starting plate. Let's start here. And let's go maximize on play. Oops, not pause, play. And let's see what we get. Remember, there's no post-processing, there's no decent texturing yet. There's just and this world is totally different to the one that I actually created this biome in, which was very flat. And so this is a pretty good test of the biome to see whether it's effective. You're always going to need to tweak it for every new world, but if I can get it to being reasonably good for coverage, which is what I'm aiming at for here, then it should be pretty easy to do that tweaking and do it in any environment. And then you bring in Jenna and you start planting specific areas. And with this camera, what you can do is you can place waypoints as well. So if you've got a Jenna thing is doing, say, a small little village, you can have waypoints placed in the village for the camera to go visit. And that's how I generate my little movies. And then put music to them, and off you go. But right now, I'm taking forever to enter play mode. What's going on? Oh, we'll look at chat instead. Always been working lots of different things. Got a custom avatar set up for my stream. Yeah, you should drop into Yolan's stream sometime, Brian, because you do streaming. Yolan's cool little avatar thing is cool. It's been building up for a while, and it's got to cool at this point. I really like what he's done with it. You can customize your own little avatar. Have your own voice, have your own look. When you come and chat, it does a speech bubble and you kind of wander around doing your own thing. It's super cool. And Yolan, while you were away earlier on, and I said Yolan's not here to remind me to save, I went back in my mind to our conversation about whether we could do an autosave, and you said you've tried it, it's not a good idea, it doesn't work well. Why don't you have your avatar tell you to save every now and again when you're doing a stream? And make it work with YouTube so I can use it. Why am I not entering play mode? This is worrying. Oh, that did it. The trick of moving the window woke it up. Yay. I'm glad you like that idea, Yolan. Occasionally I have good ideas. Oh, it does work with YouTube. Okay, yeah, turn it back on. It's not been there. Although your last one, I was able to watch it on Twitch because I was not in my usual weekend spot, so I was able to watch it on Twitch. Okay, so I've got it on pause. That's my fault again. All right, so here's my camera. This is entirely random that it's doing now within a confined area, but gives us a little bit of an opportunity to see what we created. So I need to sort these mountains out. They're looking pretty awful without a rock texture on them, but we can fix that. I haven't got Jenna installed, but I can see a river coming right down there. We need a river down there, right? And maybe a little lake in this bit here. Anyway, I'm not building a terrain. I just wanted to see what the biome looked like. I'm interested that we got trees all the way up here, though, because I thought I had a height filter to prevent that. I wonder if I lost that in my crash. So Brian, you're asking about Messi. He hasn't been around much lately. He did re-emerge on his Discord the other day though, and said, "Hey, I'm still here. I'm not feeling good, but I'm around." So he's coming back to life again. I think I need these to follow the terrain, don't I? See, it's floating above the terrain here. I obviously haven't got the rotate to terrain turned on these grasses. To fix that, need to sort out these textures, get decent textures that actually match the vegetation. Probably speed up the camera for this. This is the speed at which the camera moves when I'm making the videos from it. All right, so that's looking okay. Now I've got that in. Let's put the pine trees in. No, I don't want to put the pine trees in. I'm going to start wrapping up. It's getting late here. Now that I know that works, I feel like I've got to about probably 50% done now. I got to about 15% on the last session. So I feel like I'm about 50% done now. So good progress. I'm quite happy with the way it's come out in this totally different world. I'm not happy with the grass. I have to fix that. Definitely need to fix the textures. Need the pine trees in. Need to sort out these trees on the mountain. They don't look good. But overall, I'm happy. So I think with that, I am going to stop watching this thing ticking by because it's winding me up. I'm getting tired. And so I'm going to finish up here. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you for taking my abuse, Brian. You can pass it all on to Adam. I'll send you the video and you can tell him what I said. But tell him the good stuff, not the bad stuff, though. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you again soon. Bye-bye.